Welcome back to CWM University, where we learn together. And today's video is going to be about advice I would give a first-year teacher as a teacher who has taught for 11 years. Okay, first, let's talk about classroom management. I didn't realize that classroom management meant so much to me until I became a teacher. And I wanted to figure out how to make my class run smoothly. But I thought, let me look back about the other classrooms I have been to throughout the duration of me going to school and try to figure out what I actually liked about those particular classes. So I thought about my K through 12 teachers and the classrooms or the teachers that I really liked. The reason I liked their classes was because they respected the students. They were organized, never seemed shuffled, so it made me feel calm, and they had some control over their class. So in those classes, I could concentrate on my work. I didn't have to worry about people running around the classrooms playing. I really appreciated them being nice to students, being organized, and just having their stuff together. Also, looking back at my education, there were teachers I didn't like. And so I was thinking, why didn't I like those particular teachers? And a lot of times it was because they were rude. I did not like a teacher who was rude to students or thought that you should respect them just because they were the teacher. I also didn't like when teachers talk down on students. If I felt like they were being disrespectful to other students in my class, I would automatically not like them, especially if I felt the student didn't do anything to warrant said behavior. I always felt that as a teacher, you should respect your students and you shouldn't treat them as if they are less than. So as I was trying to figure out my classroom management skills and kind of like what type of teacher I wanted to be, I wanted to take those experiences I had and pull from what I loved and what made me feel comfortable as a student, and make sure those things that made me not like teachers' classrooms, that I didn't incorporate them, and make sure that they didn't make my students feel the way that I feel. So I was trying to use empathy. How did I feel as a student? What made me feel comfortable? What made me want to come to class? And then I incorporated that into my classroom management. So as a first year teacher, I always remember that classroom management is important. How you treat your students is very important. And the organization and the environment in your classroom is important as well. So just make sure you keep those things in the forefront when you're trying to decide how you want to set up your class. Make sure that your class is student focused. And when it's student focused and all about the student, you'll be on the right track. The second thing, having a decorated classroom is not going to make the students love you more. For some reason, I feel like when I got out of school, they was like, your classroom should look nice so the students will know it's inviting, and it really matters. But what I learned, my students didn't care about my classroom being decorated. My first year, I thought it was perfect. It was cute. Everything was focused on my students and what they liked, and the students still acted up. They still had behavior issues. I still had some things I had to overcome my first year. So how my classroom was decorated didn't matter. And as I progressed through my teaching career, I realized that I was spending too much time on decorating my classroom and not enough time putting things in place to make sure my students were successful. Arranging my desk to make sure we can get around in the classroom, having routines, how we get in the classroom, get out the classroom, how we line up, bell dismiss you. Those are the things I started to become more focused on than decorating my classroom. Of course, at some point the students were like, why is your classroom not decorated like the other teachers? And I told them, I felt that it was more important that I had things in place and ready for them and make sure we had routines in the classroom so it runs smoothly than me decorating my classroom. Now, I would have some things up. I would have like the bell schedule, the exit plan, the fire exit plan, things that you have to have up in your classroom. I would have some pictures of my family, old students, things like that. But as far as making sure my room had a theme, it just wasn't true to me. I didn't see it giving benefit to my students and how I ran my classroom. I put a little border up or something on my board or something like that, but I didn't go over and beyond and spend extra money because that was not the focus. If decorating is not a thing that you too much care for, don't do it. Focus more on how are you going to run your classroom, which goes back to those classroom management strategies that have in place to make sure your year runs smoothly. Once you get those classroom management strategies in place, and then you feel like you get more and more comfortable as the years go by, you want to decorate your classroom and you have that time, then go right ahead. But a lot of times in the year, we were meeting, and only had a limited time in our classroom. So I had to pick. Am I going to decorate it, make sure it looks really, really, really nice? Or am I going to work on doing my lessons and making sure we have routines in place to make sure my students feel comfortable in my classroom? If decorating is not your thing, don't stress yourself out about having a perfect classroom and everything looking very nice and decorated, because it doesn't change the students' behavior. And at the end of the day, it probably will get torn up. Somebody will rub against the wall, tear up the little parchment paper you put up there. Just make sure that you have things in place to make sure your students are successful. Number 3, leave work at work. Oh my goodness, I don't know what year this clicked for me. It was maybe year 6. It clicked for me that I was doing too much outside of work and not having a personal life. I would work when I get home. Oh, let me make these lesson templates, make sure that the lessons are really nice. It looks aesthetically pleasing, or let me just grade these papers really quick. It came to a point where the people in my life were saying that I wasn't spending enough time with them because I was so focused on work when work should have been left at work. So I think around year 6, I was like, how can I start leaving work at work? How can I get get papers automatically graded for me while I only have to grade so many things? What am I doing during the day that is taking up my time where I can't execute these tasks while I'm at work? Make sure that you're using your time wisely. Don't go into the teacher lounge, have a whole conversation for your 50-minute planning period, and then you got nothing done for yourself. Because talking to your coworkers is important. You want to build those relationships as well, but maybe do it once a week. And then the rest of the week, you're in your room planning for your next couple of weeks to try to get ahead, grading papers, do everything you can do between the hours that you're at work. So when you get home, you can give that time back to your family and to people that you love the most. Not saying that you don't love your students, but you are a person outside of being a teacher. So make sure you plan accordingly. Number 4, don't make teaching your whole personality. Yes, when you get around your friends, they're going to say, oh, she's a teacher or he's a teacher. Cool. Yes, that's my job. But I am a person outside of school. Take care of yourself. Go to those workout classes. Do your hobby. If you like to knit. If you like to paint outside of work, and that's the things that you were interested in before you became a teacher, don't forget about those. Be a person outside of teaching, because you cannot teach, you cannot care for students from an empty cup. You have to fill up your cup. You have to recharge. And whatever way you decide that is how you recharge, do that. Don't forget about those things. Don't forget about the hobbies that you loved before you became a teacher. Those are still important. Also, your district gives you days off for a reason. Take them. My first year teaching, I didn't take any days off. I was at work every single day, whether I felt good or not. And do you think I got a reward for being at school every single day? No, not even a certificate. Nobody mentioned like, hey, thank you for 100% attendance. They didn't give me a stipend for being at work every day. So after that first year taught me, I have days. I need to take them. I know making sub plans is bananas. Those sub plans can get crazy. They have to be very detailed. There's a lot of planning that goes in place just for you to get a sub. But it is important and it is helpful to take those days off. Whatever you need to do for yourself, even if that's staying at home all day, taking naps, watching whatever you like to watch on TV, or reading a book. Some days you need those days, and it is okay to take care of yourself. So remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to refill that cup. So whatever that looks like, do that for yourself. And take the days. They give them to you. Take your days. I'm not saying you need to take all of them. That's up to you. Use the discretion. But take some days off. It's okay. Your students will still be there when you get back, and it will be okay. And number 5, don't forget why you became a teacher. Enjoy the art of teaching. Enjoy watching your students learn, not knowing a topic, you teaching them, working hard with them, and them learning. That was always the reward for me. If I could work with a student and I know the student didn't know how to multiply, and they come to tutorials and we work in small group during the class time, and then finally they get it. They're like, I understand it. And it's just out of nowhere. That's the most rewarding thing to me. A student coming up to me and saying, thank you so much for helping me with this. Last year I didn't understand this, but this year I get it. Don't forget of the reason why you became a teacher. Keep that at the forefront, because there will be hard days. There will be days that students try you. There will be days students have meltdowns. And in those times, use empathy. Try to figure out how can you help the student be successful. So just keep in mind that classroom management is important. Having a decorated classroom is not going to make the students love you more. Leave work at work. Take care of yourself. You are the cup, and you can't pour from an empty cup. And finally, enjoy teaching. Remember why you became a teacher. Even when the days get hard, Even if you have to write on a sticky note on your desk, remind yourself, I became a teacher because. And when those days get hard, you read that sticky note to stay encouraged. So if we have any veteran teachers out there that would like to drop some advice in the comments for the first year teachers and things that will help them be successful in their teaching career, please do that. So drop that advice in the comments. First year teachers, if there's anything that you're concerned about or you may need help with in your classroom, put those concerns in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. Hopefully with some type of resolution or some options that you could explore. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video, share it with you that's about to become a teacher that is going through their first year teaching, or any teacher that whatever year they may be in that this advice could help. You already know. Until next time, peace out.